So today we're going to be taking a look at 10 winter fragrances that I would keep for the rest of my life if I had to toss everything else out. We're getting ready to roll into February, which is typically around here kind of one of the harshest months of winter, and that's really where your fragrances are going to get put to the test. If I had to wipe out all of my other cold weather, winter-oriented fragrances, at the end of the day, at this time, these are the ones that I would keep. Now, I'm constantly getting new things on almost a daily basis. I'm always changing my mind on things, and I come around to certain things and get tired of other things. So this would change, but as of right now, these are the ones that I'm digging the most. All designers, and I will link them all up down below to discounters so you can get them at a price below retail. Also, importantly, you will find the FragranceNet 35% off link. Clicking that will automatically apply the current up-to-date best discount. The codes are always changing, so that'll always ensure that you're getting, the best deal. Even if FragranceNet were to bring back the 37% off code, if you were to click that link, it would apply that. So it automatically applies whatever the maximum discount is. Keep 10 winter for life. Let's just go ahead and get this one rolling here. And we're going to start off with 212 VIP Black by Carolina Herrera. Vanilla, absinthe, anise, and lavender are a few of the main notes. Really enjoy this one. Sweet, smooth, playful, a little bit bubblegummy, but a different twist on that genre as well. What I do like about this one a lot is it has a good amount of substance behind it, a good amount of power, performance. This is one that cuts through the coldest of cold days. And especially as we're moving into one of the most brutal times of the year for winter time, that's kind of what I'm after. And I can really depend on this one. I know if I spray this one on in the morning, it's going to do well and it's going to last throughout the entire day, even if I'm outside when it's super cold. Got a whole bunch of mass appeal as well, like you would expect from a designer brand. This one falls kind of in that mid to kind of mid-upper price point, I believe is where it sits. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's not too outlandish. It's also not a cheapie either. Kind of places it in that sweet spot. If you don't want to spend a whole bunch of money, but you want to spend a little bit of money to feel like you're getting something that is of decent quality. This is where this one lands, and I do think it's a great pickup for wintertime. Next up, Ferragamo Uomo Signature. This one has coffee, tonka bean, and leather as a few of the main notes. Really big fan of this flanker here. This and the original Uomo are splitting hairs. It would be hard for me to choose a favorite, one or the other, just for this video. It so happened that today I'm feeling like Uomo Signature. But as I mentioned, the next day, a couple days from now, I could be like, you know what, the original Uomo, that's the one I want to keep for life. They just go back and forth. They really are quite similar, both being heavily based on sweet notes. What I like about Signature, though, is that it has the addition of the leather and also the coffee. So what that does is it almost tones back the sweetness a little bit. Still very sweet, but if you've smelled the original Uomo, it is incredibly syrupy sweet. Not for everybody. This one adds a little bit more of a masculine balance. And I do like the coffee note in here as well. It kind of has a roasted coffee beans, gives it a little bit more of a almost gourmand aspect. It's sweet, it's delectable, it's delicious, and I'm a big fan of this stuff. Now, it's been weird. They've been out of stock on discounters a lot. Unfortunately, I think it still is. I didn't want to stop that from me including these though, because I still think it's one that I would definitely keep for life. So retail's kind of your only way to go right now, which sucks, but it is what it is. They'll come back in stock at some point. Next up, we have Mercedes-Benz Le Parfum. Violet leaf, oud, amber, and vetiver are some of the main notes. So that's a different note breakdown, right? You get this fresh ozonic violet leaf up top, and then you get this nice smoky oriental oud. Man, this is crazy, out of this world good. Also, the presentation is very cool. I didn't save it, but it comes in a round cylindrical looking box like this. It has like a nice texture to it. Has a little rope, you pull it and it opens up. So the presentation is fantastic on this. The box, I guess, and also the bottle, it's got a nice, fake leather wrap around the cap there with some stitching. Cap clicks into place, but that smell, that's what hammers this one home. Now, don't be scared of the oud. I don't want that to make you shy away from this. It's so subdued, but you still can pick up on it. It just gives it this nice smoky, oriental, woody undertone mixing with that violet leaf fresh balance. There's some amber in here giving it a little bit of a sweetness. You get some vetiver in the dry down. It smells fantastic. Something that you would not expect to come from a car designer brand. They have some, oh crap, they have some amazing stuff. That's seriously good. This Club Black would be another great option, one that I would keep, but also it just, that one's out of stock. I don't want to put too many out of stock, hard to get things in here. There's even some more. Select Night is another one that I would choose. This brand surprisingly has some serious winners, and this one here, heavily underrated in my opinion, especially at that price point. Don't sleep on that one, give it a shot. So we do have an obvious one that I had to throw in here. When we're talking about keeping fragrances for life, this always has to make its way in here. The one Eau de Parfum by Dolce & Gabbana. So this one has amber, it has tobacco, it has cardamom, a little bit of grapefruit up top. I mean, this DNA is truly a magical work of art. The performance is obviously an issue, but if you use it as a date fragrance, it's not so much an issue. And that's kind of what I see it as. My girlfriend really likes this one. I like to wear it date nights, or even just hanging around the house in the evening. I'm not looking for performance during that time. In fact, I wouldn't really want something too strong because we'll be going to bed, and I don't want a fragrance that's going to be annoying me while I'm trying to sleep. It's just soft, it's inviting, it's masculine, it's a little bit mysterious, It has that tobacco in here, giving it a bit of a smokiness. It's just a men's fragrance that I don't think will ever go out of style. If you are looking for, hands down, one of the best date fragrances created for men, you should look no further than this. And I've said this for a long time, and I still subscribe to this idea that this one here, the one Eau de Parfum and La Nuit de l'Homme, are two of the best men's date fragrances ever. I still think that, I always will. My girlfriend loves both of them, even though she's not too heavily into kind of the warm, spicier scents. She typically does prefer the aquatics and stuff, although she has been coming around to it. She's always loved those. This stuff here, man, I will always have it with me for winter time. Just stunning. Next up, Prada Luna Rossa Sport. So this always sounds kind of funny because, it's a sport fragrance, quote unquote, but yet featuring it in a winter video. But yeah, that's kind of how it is. It's got vanilla, it has lavender, it's got tonka bean. So it's actually sweeter than Prada Luna Rossa, the original. That one's a lavender heavy scent. There's a little bit of a sweetness, but primarily soapy. This one has much more sweetness, more powdery. It almost is like a fresher version of Prada Luna Rossa Black. So that's another fan favorite, not just for me, but for you guys as well. I know a lot of people love Prada Luna Rossa Black. Another issue with that one right now is it's out of stock, but it doesn't cost all that much more retail. You can still buy it. But that one almost is too powdery and sweet for some people. If that's you, and you really like the DNA, you want to be able to love it and wear it, but it's just too much, check out Prada Luna Rossa Sport. Now, I'm not saying they're exactly alike. There are still differences here. This one is fresher and all of that stuff, but you will notice similarities within the tonka bean, amber, powderiness that they both give off. I really like this one. It is such a soapy Prada-style men's fragrance that just works so well. Also, I do believe it's one of the more affordable Prada Luna Rossa fragrances. Really nice stuff. Let's keep this one rolling here. Next up, we have Paco Rabanne Black XS, the new style bottle. Praline, lemon, cinnamon, and patchouli are some of the main notes. Another very, very sweet fragrance. So, for me, kind of guilty pleasures. I like them a lot. A lot of people don't, which is understandable. When you smell something like this, you would be lying to yourself if you were thinking, how could anyone dislike this? Because I know for me, when I smell it, I'm like, yeah, I can see why people wouldn't like this. What I do think is interesting, though, is it has a lot of that sweetness. It's got the praline, but also a lot of lemon. So it's like this creamy lemon dessert type of smell. It's a little bit zesty. It's actually a little bit fizzy and a little bit sparkling up top. And you find the same thing with the Paco Rabanne Pure XS in a similar bottle, but blue gradient. That one has this cola, sugar, boozy accord going on, sweet, fresh, that sort of thing. They kind of share similarities in that fizzy, bubbly aspect in the opening. Scents themselves are completely different, but you know what I'm saying. So even though this is a Paco Rabanne fragrance, I have to give them credit where credit's due. It does have a little bit of a kind of refreshing, different take on the sweet style of men's fragrance. and I really do respect that. I like this one a lot, and I would definitely keep it around. Next up, we have an OG. Came out, I believe, in 1999, which is weird because it's the year I was born, and yet this fragrance still smells brand new. And it's so crazy because this came out way before the trend of men's vanilla, tonka bean, ambery, sweet powdery fragrances, right? 22 years ago, a lot of it was the aquatics, aromatics, and all that stuff. They, of course, were releasing sweet fragrances like this one. But this, of course, Givenchy Pi. I mean, man, still to this day, it just absolutely kills it. Vanilla, benzoin, almond. There's a tonka bean. Give that another go. Smells fantastic. It never gets old. I don't think it ever will. It is kind of what we're used to seeing these days. Powdery, sweet, smooth, vanilla heavy. It's a little bit dusty from the benzoin here. It is a very delicious smelling men's fragrance that holds up wonderfully in the winter. I mean, this is one of the more cozy fragrances in this list, I would say. You know, this one and Dolce & Gabbana, the one, EDP, are fragrances that you'd really want to wear just to cuddle up when it's cold outside, you're watching a movie in the evening or whatever. This is one that can almost put you to sleep. It's just so soothing. It's so relaxing. I believe the price point is typically around the $50-ish, maybe 50, 55, somewhere around in there for 100 ml, which is very good, very competitive. Givenchy, they have some amazing fragrances, and this is one of the many. Up next, we have another one that's a little bit more obvious, but it's just one that I think will always be in a video like this. It's one that I will always cherish. It's just really quite magical to me, and that is Dior Homme Intense. So, of course, you guys know the note breakdown, I'm sure. It's got iris, it's got amberette, lavender, pear, maybe a little bit of pepper. I can't remember for sure. But, oh, man. I'm actually gonna, I'll spray it. Might as well. It's not like I only have one bottle. I've got a few bottles. Help me. But it smells, oh man, that is just delicious. Might go ahead and make this my scent of the day. It's a cold one out there today. Not brutally cold, but it is chilly. This, I guess I misspoke there a second ago. This is another one that would be really good in the evening for cuddling and going to sleep. Maybe even actually more so than some of the others. I completely messed that up there. Great cuddle scent, great evening scent, great relaxing wintertime fragrance that just smells so delicious. It's another one that's a little bit slightly gourmand in a way. It has this chocolatey kind of texture and smell to it. The iris is creamy and smooth and floral. Definitely not masculine in the traditional sense, so you have to be into fragrances with a little bit of a sweetness. That may be a challenge for some, but I do encourage you, every single person out there, to try this at some point. Even if it sounds like you are going to hate it and despise it, please just sample it at some point. Doesn't have to be right now. Definitely don't have to blind buy a bottle, and I would encourage you to not do that if you don't know for sure that you're going to like this. But it should be in all of the retailers. You should be able to buy samples basically on all of the decant websites. Please try it at some point in your collecting hobby, because I tried this relatively early on and I loved it right away. I think a lot of you guys would as well. Second to last fragrance, we've got Armani Code Absolute. Tonka bean, what else? Suede, orange, vanilla. Man, another one that is just a home run. A flanker that was love at first sniff for me. I smelled it and I was like, okay, this is an absolute winner. Like, they did not cut any corners. They did not, make this one a disappointment. Right away, I knew what this one was intended to be for, at least for me, what I would perceive it to be. And I just knew right away, I'm like, man, this is going to be a hit. This is going to be a bestseller. I think I did a first impressions. You could probably go back and watch that video. Done many videos on it since then. I knew right away, and I think we can all agree that this one has really, really done well. This one is kind of like Ferragamo Uomo versus Uomo Signature for me. So by that I mean Armani Code Absolute versus Armani Code Profumo. Which one would I take? It would almost depend on the day. This one, though, probably if I had to boil it down, it would be this one, Absolute. I've said that before. If I had to, absolutely had to, I would choose this one. With the Uomos, it's a little bit trickier. And the main reason why it's easier for me with this one is that Armani Co Profumo is more playful and more loud. This one is still very sweet, but it's a little bit more refined. With the Uomos, they're both very playful, still both very loud, so they're still kind of in the same ballpark. This one also is more of a date night scent, more grown up, and I think I would choose this one. But I'll tell you, man, this stuff is absolutely incredible. If you have yet to get one of these somehow, please do. I encourage you to check this stuff out. Easily, probably hands down the best coat flanker that we've had so far, and there's been some good ones. And last up for this video, another guilty pleasure, but it makes me sad to think about getting rid of all my winter fragrances and not taking this one with me. Ultra Male by Jean Paul Gaultier. Pear, vanilla, I think there's a little bit of a pepperiness, lavender, all of that stuff. It's basically the original Le Male DNA, but sweetened up to the heavens. Very loud, very playful, very, very sweet, very much not for everybody. So that's why I'm saying it's a guilty pleasure for me. You would expect probably most reviewers to hate this fragrance just because it kind of fits into that category of super juvenile, super unprofessional smelling. And for me, that's why I like it so much. It's just fun. It reminds me of fall. It just reminds me of that time of year, leaves, all the fall decorations, Halloween, all of that stuff. That's, for whatever reason, what this one reminds me of. It's a very fun scent. And if you're a younger guy out there in your, mid, late teens, even early teens, into your early 20s, if you're looking for a fun fall and wintertime fragrance, please get this one and please make some great memories with it because it is truly, it's fun. I've already said that, I think 7 times now, but I'll make it one more fun fragrance, and I am keeping it with me. Alrighty guys, there you have it. That is 10 fragrances that I would keep, 10 winter fragrances that I would keep for the rest of my life, toss the rest. Again, this will always change, right? It's just all part of being a reviewer and having a ridiculous amount of fragrances, but you know, these here are just amazing. This Mercedes-Benz Le Parfum, it is a shock for me how good it is. I got it a little while ago. I was kind of like, oh, this could either be really good or just so-so. I didn't think it was going to be bad. And as I've been wearing it more and testing it more, oh man, it kills it really well. Great in the wintertime. It's almost like Fahrenheit Le Parfum, except it doesn't have the rum and the sweetness, all of that stuff. It's almost like their take, but with an oud note instead. Smokiness. It is incredible. And at this price point, holy crap. And again, speaking of price point, these will all be linked up down below to Discounter, so you can check them out. Don't forget to hit the 35% off link first. That will automatically apply the current code to your cart, and from there you can go through and shop and add everything. That link is in all of my videos, so anytime you want to make a purchase, make sure you hit that, get the best deal, go from there. Knock yourself out. Alrighty, that's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe and stay healthy for me, okay? Take care of yourself. And we'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.